I lived in a house that was almost 300 years old. So let's talk about it. All right, so a fun fact about this house that I lived in. My husband lived in this house when we were just dating for about 2 years back in 2015, 2017. And then we moved to San Diego because we wanted to see what San Diego would bring to our lives. And then we moved back to the East Coast in 2021. So we were living on the East Coast, and well, mind you, when my husband lived there the first time, whenever I would go and visit him, if I would get there before he got home from work or from running errands, I just hated being there alone. The house just gave me the heebie-jeebies. So that was in 2015 to 2017. My husband just refuses to acknowledge that this house could be haunted, so he lived there peacefully. I was in shambles at all times. So fast forward to 2021, we moved back to the East Coast. We are staying with family while we're just trying to get our bearings and get new jobs and just transition back into life on the East Coast. And my husband is saying, man, I really wish that house was available again. I loved living there. It was the best. It was a dream because it was a pretty big space and the rent was really affordable, but it was haunted, so I didn't care. But anyway, my husband really wanted to move back. I said, not happening. So he went on a limb and asked our old friend and neighbor who had lived there the entire time. She was there for almost 10 years. He followed up and just said, hey, do you know if our old unit is available or will be available? And she said, no, unfortunately, the people have been living here, have been here for 2 years. They love it. I don't think they're going anywhere. Ironically enough, a few months later, and I think it was on Christmas Day, our old neighbor shoots at me a text and goes, hey, do you want to move back in? They're actually moving out. They're moving back down south. If you want it, I can, put in a good word with the old landlord and just remind him that you guys are old tenants. It's looking pretty good for you guys to move back in. So we moved back. Yeah, we moved back. This time, I felt a little bit better because we had Mona, my parrot, with us. So at least, I had company. I had my BFF. So I didn't feel as scared, but I was still apprehensive, especially because even our neighbor was certain. She can verify that there was some weird stuff going on in this house. Just to preface, this house is a historic landmark. It was built in 1757, and a really famous blind poet lived there. I can't remember if she was born there. I know she didn't die there, but she was a blind hymn writer. Her name was Fanny Crosby. When you Google her, that's not who you want haunting your house, okay? Nothing personal, but good God, she was terrifying, okay? I'm just gonna say it. She was terrifying. She scares the hell out of me. So I have plenty of stories of just my experience being there, but I'm just talking about one. Sorry it took me a while to get here, but I need to give you all the backstory. So we're living in this house. Weird stuff is happening. Every time it happens, my husband justifies it with something ridiculous. But there was one night in particular, and ironically, it was the night of Halloween going into November 1st. If anyone knows of Samhain, if anyone knows anything about the veil thinning on the night of Halloween, then you know that sometimes activity is heightened, if you believe in that. So I'm in bed, and the layout of the house was you had your master bedroom, then there was the living room and the kitchen, and so I'm in the bedroom. Our doors closed every night because I just didn't like having that door open when I slept. I felt like people were watching me there, and the living room seemed to be the most active, so obviously I kept that door shut. Mona is in our bedroom with us because I'm not letting that poor bird be around ghosts by herself, so she slept in the bedroom with us in her cage because we needed her safe. And in the living room is her perch, her stand. And it was a really simple stand. It was just a classic perch, and then I had this big hook, and on the hook you could hang a toy. So I would hang a toy, and it would usually have wooden bits, a chain, and then there's always a bell at the end because a lot of bird toys have bells on them. See where I'm going here? So I'm in the bedroom, doors closed, and something wakes me up in the middle of the night. I'm laying in bed, I'm trying to go back to sleep, and then I hear a bell chime from the living room, from Mona's perch, because that's the only bell in that room. And I don't think anything of it. I just think it was just a weird coincidence. Sometimes, I mean, the house was really old. Honestly, the house should be condemned, but that's another story. The house was really old. It could have been so many different things. So I try not to think into it because I'm already heightened at all times. So I just try to go back to sleep. But then I heard it again. I heard the bell chime again. I'm laying there. And I'm questioning that very seriously. Then I hear it again. And we're not talking about a little like, doo-doo. We're talking about a bell chiming like, doo-doo-doo. Like take a little metal bell and whack it. And that bell is connected to things. So it's reverberating off the objects, whatever. The bell is ringing. And it's not a tiny bell. It's a bell designed for a 3-pound scarlet macaw or anything of a similar size. So it needs some force to hit it. So this bell is going off every 30 seconds. So finally, I'm like, okay, I'm officially terrified out of my mind. If it happens again, I'm waking up John because he's sound asleep. Just sweet dreams. Sure enough, the bell chimes again. And I shake John and I say, the bell is going off in the living room. And he's very tired. He's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, Mona's bell is ringing in the living room. And she's clearly in here with us sleeping. She's covered in her cage. It's not coming from here. It's coming from the living room. He's like, no, it's not. And the bell chimes. And when I tell you that this man shot out of bed, somehow had a flashlight already in hand and goes into the living room and he's looking around and he can't find anything. No evidence of what could be making the bell chime. Have no idea what was causing that. But he comes back in the room with the pole and the toy attached to the pole in his hand and he puts it in the closet and he gets back into bed and all he says is, that was weird, and goes to sleep. It just goes right back to sleep. Obviously, I didn't sleep all that night. And the next day when I tried to bring it back up to him, my man's tried to chalk it up to, well, sometimes we get mice in the house, so a mouse could have done that. Mice are this big and weigh next to nothing, and there is absolutely nothing they can do to create enough power and force to make that bell chime. So yeah, that was weird. I hated living there, especially ever since that. So, we don't live there anymore. But yeah, that was really weird. Just bells chiming in the middle of the night.